Jack continued to lay very still as Mark patted his bare thigh before climbing off the bed. He was too embarrassed to look at Mark right now. Mark knew he couldn't hold out long, yet it was his favorite thing to tease him with. Mark wiped his hand clean with a smile, watching Jack lay there like nothing had happened. Wetting down the washcloth, Mark returned to Jack's side. Pulling Jack's shoulder back in order to get him to expose his stomach, slowly, Mark slid the wet cloth over Jack's stomach, saying gently, "It's nothing to be shy about." Jack snatched the pillow off the bed and lightly hit Mark across the face with it. It didn't faze Mark, but his chocolate brown eyes shot up to glare at Jack. There was a hidden fierceness to Mark's eyes that made Jack avert his own. A look that the fan base had begun to classify as Septiplier. Mark's voice dropped into a deep, serious tone when he told Jack thoughtfully, "Is that how you want to play?" It wasn't a question. It was more of an observation. Mark grabbed Jack's wrist and forced it back to the open restraint, his eyes never leaving Jack's as he locked it back around Jack's wrist. Jack watched Mark back off the edge of the bed, yanking Jack's free leg back to its restraint with a devilish smirk. Jack hated when he played this game. It always appeared as if Septiplier was his own person. Mark made a show of licking the tips of his fingers before reaching out to snuff out the first candle with them. He then picked it up without looking at it as he told Jack softly, Pain is only a temporary function." Jack swallowed hard, bracing himself as Mark brought the candle slowly over his body. Then, even slower, he tilted the candle. Jack felt the first drop of hot wax drop onto his stomach, and he gasped in shock. It was hot and burned for a brief moment, before subsiding a bit. Mark's grin looked terrifying in the eerie candlelight that remained. He never let a single drop of wax hit the same spot. Mark let it drop over his thighs, his chest, and his arms. When he seemed to run out of wax, Mark replaced the candle back on the shelf with the other, saying softly out loud, "My offer still stands, Jack. Just say it." Stubbornly, Jack stared up at the dark ceiling, unyielding. He was sure he looked more confident than he felt, but he hoped Mark would get bored and release him. Instead, Mark shrugged, leaning over to grab the cock gag off the bed. Jack instantly locked his jaw. No way was he going to let that back in. Mark poured something out of the cot's drawer and popped the top to coat the gag in it. It was too dark in the room to make out what the liquid was, and Mark's hand practically covered all but the nozzle. Mark held the gag out from Jack, saying seriously, "Take it." Jack turned away. Mark couldn't make him take the damn thing back in. Mark sighed disappointed before pulling a remote from his pocket. Jack had forgotten all about it. Mark clicked the button and Jack jerked against the restraints, trying to keep his jaw locked. Mark set the gag down to take hold of Jack's jaw firmly. Then, with an evil grin, Mark increased the level of the anal beads until Jack's eyes were watering from the pleasure. Mark geared it up to its highest level setting, and Jack couldn't stop himself. The stream burst from his throat. Mark quickly pressed his fingers into Jack's cheeks to keep him from closing his mouth, dropping the remote to jam the gag into place. It only took Jack a split second to realize what Mark had coated the gag with, some kind of hot sauce. Once it was buckled into place, Mark sat down, turning off the anal beads and telling Jack, "Now, you really wish you had listened. That is Pepper Palace's hottest sauce in the universe. It has a Scottsdale rating of 3 300, 500,000. In layman's terms, that is 700 times harder than a jalapeno. Can you taste it yet? Jack's tongue was going numb. It was burning so bad. His eyes were starting to water over as he tried to focus on inhaling through his nose. He tugged so hard against the restraints that he was sure to have bruises, but he didn't care. He wanted to throw in the towel. He'd give Mark whatever he wanted if it meant getting the cure. Mark brushed the dome across Jack's cheek to swipe away the trail of tears. They made a show of licking him off his thumb. He was pretty sure Jack had more than learned his lesson now, but was in no hurry to give Jack relief just yet. Sitting on the edge of the bed, Mark stroked Jack's thrusting body, asking a little smugly, "Is there something you want to say? Maybe even apologize about?" Jack nodded in rapid suggestion, making it more than clear that he had learned his lesson. Regrettably, he swallowed and felt his body convulse uncontrollably as a shiver shot through him. He tried to call out to Mark and regretted that too. The bone was in his throat now. He couldn't moan, talk, or even breathe. It was killing him, and Mark was just letting it happen. Mark had seen enough. If he left Jack to suffer any longer, he was sure he would pass out. Gently removing the gag, Mark removed a large ketchup bottle from the drawer and pressed the nozzle to Jack's lip. Jack attacked the nozzle greedily, trying to suck the liquid out himself in desperation. Showing mercy, Mark squeezed the bottle for Jack. Jack guzzled down half the bottle in a mad rush of relief, until Mark had to pull it away. Chuckling softly, Mark asked him playfully, "So, about what you should say to me?" Jack dropped his head back against the pillow, feeling lightheaded and completely numb in the face. If Mark really expected him to answer, he couldn't do it. His throat was nowhere near ready to try making sounds yet. To be continued.